Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O Vidra, O great sage, what did Swayambhu, the dear son of Brahma, do after obtaining his very loving wife? Translation. O best of the virtuous, the original king of kings, Manu, was a great devotee of personality of Godhead Hare, and thus it is worth hearing of his sublime character and activities. Please describe them. I am very eager to hear. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead and His pure devotees. In the absolute world, there is no difference in quality between the Supreme Lord and His pure devotees. Therefore, hearing the topics of the Lord and hearing of the character and activities of the pure devotee have the same result, namely the development of devotional service. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Purport. So it's a new chapter we started last time. Appearance of Lord Barahadev. And here we see the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. So both are the great devotees, and here Vidura is inquiring from Maitreya about Savai Swayambhu Samrat Priya Putra Swayambhuva Pratilabhya Priyam Patnim Kim Chakar Tato Mune. So Pratilabhya Priyam Patnim. So the Swayambhu Manu, as we know, how he got generated, how he got produced from body of Brahma. Swayambhu Manu and Satrupa. They both came out as a couple. It's not like a brother and sister. They both as a couple they got produced from the body of Brahma. So here Vidura is asking, Kim Chakar Tato Mune. So when he got the loving wife, then what did he do? Kim Chakar is activity. Then further he is saying, Charitam tas Raj Rishe Adi Rajas Sattama Bruhi me Sriddhanaya Visvakshena Ashayo Haisho. So, Charitam Tasya, his character, his activity. He is a Raj Rishi. Swayambhu Manu he is a king and is being addressed as Adi Raj Rishi, the original king, or kings of all kings. So the Swayambhu Manu is the pivot point where things started after Brahma, and Srila Prabhupada is beautifully writing about hearing the topics of the Lord and hearing of the character and activities of a pure devotee have the same result. So Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but full of transcendental topics in relation to personality of Godhead and His pure devotees. So full Bhagavatam, if you see, either wonderful, transcendental, purifying, sublime activities of the Lord or His pure devotees. So hearing about the Lord or hearing about the pure devotees have the same effect. And Further, we will be seeing that even hearing about pure devotee have a much more purifying effect comparative to the Lord. They are transcendently uncomparable, but still hearing about his pure devotee has very, very powerful effect on the purification of the soul. So, once it so happens, when Prabhupada first came to Calcutta, and that's the birthplace of Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to start some preaching. So initially there was no land, so Prabhupada hired up one house, and the landlord of that house was a Bengali person, but somehow he was a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Achyutanand Swami came with the Srila Prabhupada. So they hired the house, and it so happens that Achyutanand is trying to learn Bengali, Hindi, so that he can communicate. So later on he becomes a president. But so when he came, so after learning some Bengali something, he started speaking to landlord. A landlord also was follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said, so somehow he wanted to, so I know many things also. So landlord says to Achyutananda, see, Krishna is like a milk, Radha Rani like a sugar, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Rasgulla. So when you by the milk and sugar, you can make Rasgulla. So Rasgulla is very tasty. So that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So somehow he hears and he goes to Prabhupada. Who Achyutananda? See, he says, see, that landlord is speaking like this. Krishna is like a milk, Radharani like a sugar, and what's the combination? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. So and Rasgulla is very tasty then. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that. So Prabhupada says, see, without milk and sugar there is no Rasgulla. So without milk and sugar there is no Rasgulla. So originally Radha Krishna is there, by which the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Then he asked Prabhupada, who is superior or higher, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna? So Prabhupada says, Radharani. So then Prabhupada was sitting, and there was one painting was there on the wall. But see here, Radharani was sitting in the little higher platform, and Krishna was pleading to Radharani. So you can see here, so Radharani is higher. Then Prabhupada says, now see here, there's another painting was hanging on the another wall, where Krishna was carrying the khatav bolte na, that is, kya? Khadav, he was carrying. So he says, see here, Nanda Maharaj is still higher. So Prabhupada says, and the last, devotees is the best, highest. So here we see Krishna takes pleasure by serving his devotees. As devotees want to glorify Krishna, Krishna is much more eager to glorify his devotees. And Krishna becomes very pleased when his devotees are glorified. So actually, in one sense, we are the servant, but we see that Krishna is always trying to serve his devotees. And to understand the activity of devotees is very difficult. Once Prabhupada was moving in a train from Calcutta to Mumbai. Previously train were there. And that train was not so sophisticated also. And they used to stop many places. We're talking about some 50-60 years back. So one particular station, the train stops. And Prabhupada asked one devotee, please come here. So outside there was one samosa wala, he was making samosa. So go and bring 2 samosas. So that devotee comes out and bring 2 samosas. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada take this. Oh, very nice. Prabhupada start eating. Devotee is saying, is bhoga only? What is this he is eating? He taught me to eat prasadam, this, that, and that to somewhere outside somebody made it and this thing. So when train started, Prabhupada finished both the so after some time, one devotee got little courage to ask, Prabhupada, Misuri is only bhoga, na? Why are you eating this samosa? So Prabhupada says, to give him mercy, I am eating the samosa. So can you see the perception of a devotee? He is not to give him mercy so that Krishna can bless him. He has served some devotee. So the activities of the pure devotee is beyond our imagination. We cannot understand. As a pure devotee, always look after opportunity to give mercy to others. So Prabhupada always wanted some of other. If anyone serve him, then he will get some blessings of Krishna and can move on devotional path. And also once Tamal Krishna Goswami, he comes to Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, Prabhupada, I had a dream. What dream you had? In dream, I see the Golok Dham, you also there, and all the acharyas are there. And all the acharyas saying, see Bhakti Vedanta, Swami, what is this? All your disciples simply they jumping here and there. They are not very serious devotees. How they will come to Golok Dham? So Prabhupada says, because they are attached to me, they all will come to Golok Dham. Because they are attached to me, they will come all the Golok Dham. So our attachment to Srila Prabhupada, our attachment to the pure devotee will lead us to a different platform. So for that, in the next sloka it is said that the glorifying a pure devotee is much more pleasurable, much more faster advancement. Basically, they both are transcendental, but still, and hearing about them, no, satam prasanga mamir samvitu. When we hear about his pure devotees, hear about from pure devotees, about Krishna, about other pure devotees, as very fast purification. So mercy of a pure devotees are very much required to advance in devotional path. So the many Vaishnava songs where especially Bhakti Vinod Thakur has given how the mercy of a pure devotee is absolutely necessary for our advancement. The famous song that Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Karo Idasi Tirna Pekha Atihina. So Tirna Pekha means more Atihina, more lower than a blade of grass. See, that humility is the first step in spirituality. So devotee is begging to the spiritual master, to the acharyas, somehow help me so that I develop required humility. Tirna Pekha Atihina, more humbler than a blade of grass. Sakala Sahene Bal Diya Karo, and I become more tolerant. Nij Mane Isparahina, and my personal honor, I should come out from that kind of that desire. Ispara means desire, hina, those kind na nijmane is the same as Tinant api sunichena taror api amanina mane. So all three things is combined here and being put in the wonderful song. So unless we become humble, unless we become tolerant, or unless we come out from our foolish, our desire to get honored by others. And also that's not sufficient, we come out and sakale sammane korite sakati. Deho natha jata jata. Sakal sammane korite sakti. Give me the strength to honor everyone. Amanina manadena. I should never expect our respect, but we must be ready to give respect to everyone. Then, tabeto gaibo harinama sukhe. Aparada habehata. Then only we'll able to chant the holy name and ecstasy and aparata habehata. Then only the offenses will go. We'll try to hear very nicely, try with all ways and means, but unless we develop the proper mindset, aparada will not go and we're not able to harinama sukhe, we're not able to enjoy the holy name. So it's not something external effort is required anyway. But more than that, our dependency on our Guru Spiritual Master, begging the mercy, and also working about humility, tolerance, giving respect to that, not thinking about on respect, honor. Then we will be able to tabe to gaibo harinama sukhi aparada habehata. Kabe heno kirpa labhiya e jana kirthant hui binatha. Sakti buddhi hina ami ati dina koro more atma satha. Sakti buddhi hina ami ati dina. We don't have whatever buddhi, whatever tiny buddhi we have, we don't have. Koro more atma, help me so that I will come to this required qualification. And it is said next, Jogata bechare kichu nahi pai tumhara karuna sar. When examiner was saying, I don't find any qualification. I am only one qualification. I am expecting your mercy, your mercy. Only that is the one qualification. Karuna na hoile kandiya prana na rakhi boara. So that is a mode by which we have to pray to the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada. Please help me. So when we develop the proper mood and we hear about pure devotee, we serve pure devotees, so that's the only means to advance in our devotional practice, our devotional path. And the beautiful and the fourth canto Prabhupada writes, the pure devotees always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet. So the pure devotees always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet, and therefore he has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. So can you see very beautifully articulated by the Srila Prabhupada? He has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord, mercy particles. Although when a pure devotee speaks, although the pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky. The voice is spiritually very powerful. So when we hear from a pure devotee, it may look like some voice only. We are hearing so many voices. But resembling this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of the saffron dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So the voice is touching of a pure devotee because it touches the particles of saffron dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. As soon as a sleeping living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord, although up until that moment he has forgotten everything. So, when we hear from a pure devotee, when we study the books written by pure devotee, it touches the soul. And awakening of the soul happens. And because that voice of a pure devotee is touching the saffron dust particle of the lotus feet of the Lord. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire, speculative knowledge, or contamination of the modes of material nature. So when we hear from a pure devotee, it's called submissive hearing. Without any speculation, without any putting our contaminated logic. Every one of us is kuyogi. Not kuyogi, Prabhupada is using the word kuyogi. Because we have engaged in the service of this material world, forgetting our eternal relationship with the Lord as His eternal loving servants. So we are meant to serve Krishna by serving Krishna lovingly, not forcefully. It's not Krishna required service. It's our when we serve Krishna, we get benefit. So every one of us is kuyogi because we have engaged in the service of this material world, forgetting our eternal relationship with the Lord as His eternal loving servant. It is our duty to rise from the kuyogi platform to become suyogis, perfect mystics. The process of hearing from a pure devotee is recommended in all Vedic literatures, especially by Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya always recommended you must hear about Krishna from a pure devotee. And more so, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself used to glorify the devotees. And now, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, many places when he is trying to glorify, as if he got thousands of mouth. So he get so much excited when he want to glorify his Lord. One may stay in his position of life. It does not matter what it is, but if one hears from the mouth of a pure devotee, he gradually comes to the understanding of his relationship with the Lord and thus engages in his loving service. and his life becomes completely perfect. Therefore, this process of hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee is very important for making progress in the line of spiritual understanding. So the Shravanam is the most powerful process. We have discussed last class as well. As we hear about the Lord or his pure devotees from the mouth of a pure devotee, then bhakti awakens. The sleeping souls get awakens. So as much we hear, will progress. Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Prabhupada wanted a devotee to read morning Bhagavatam, evening Bhagavad Gita class should happen. People should hear about, read books. When you are chanting, Prabhupada says, you have to hear the very same chant. So hearing is very important. And one of the lecture Prabhupada was mentioning, if we want to get rid of all dirty things from our heart, we must hear scrutinizingly about Krishna. Not simply hearing. Attentive, submissive, scrutinizing hearing should happen. So even when you are chanting Hare Krishna, we should hear very attentively, submissively, scrutinizingly, with the right frame of mindset. By having so, here we see Vidura is asking from Maitreya, many things we knew that. It's not something first time he want to hear again and again. So that hearing process is very, very powerful. So that's the reason for this is always the devotees should engage about hearing about Krishna, hearing about pure devotees. Mat chitta matagata prana buddhiyantas parashpara. So devotees always, when we meet together, they should talk about Krishna, talks about great acharyas and discuss. And then they tusyanti charavanti cha. Mat chitta matagata prana buddhiyantas parasham kathyantas shamam nityam. And nityam always. As karmis, Buddha says, they are always engaged in the n number of topics. Devotees is only one thing to talk about Krishna. Then they become Istirdhi Muni Uchchate. Then his mind entirely will be fixed. If he talks about other than Krishna, then simply mind will be fragile. So studying the books of Bhagavatam, reading, and also contemplating on what you have read, then it becomes fixed in your mind. As much as we contemplate, it should not be simply read and forget everything. Because instead of you read and forget, it's better to read little also and contemplate, think of what you have read throughout the day. So contemplation makes fixed, as contemplation of the sense object divert you from bhakti. Similarly, contemplation of spiritual subject matter will help you to advance in bhakti. So our service, our activities done with the right frame of mind is appreciated by Krishna. So our mind, or even hearing will help us with thinking, feeling, willing. It will impact all things. Thinking, feeling, and willing. When you hear, is all three, which is the characteristics of the soul, get reformed, purified. Thinking, feeling, willing, all the things. But our thinking also not proper, feeling and willing, all three. So all three can be properly reformed or purified by constantly chanting, hearing about the Lord. So hearing about the pure devotee, that's also very powerful. And further it is said that not only must they hear about activity of the Lord, but they must also hear about the transcendental qualities of a devotee who are constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord within their heart. For the pure devotee, they are always thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. They cannot be aloof even for a second. That's actually definition of a pure devotee. He cannot think other than thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. So this hearing is Shravana is very, very powerful process, and if we keep hearing about Krishna, will help us to purify our heart. So that Shravana is very important, and we'll be seeing here, and we have also seen in the past, even Uddhava, when he was inquired from Vidura about, he went to so many ecstasies, he was not able to speak. So because having that intense attachment and love for Krishna, he went into ecstasy. Similarly, there are a lot of many people, Prabhupada, when they were asked about, someday Prabhupada also once chanting Jai Radha Madhav, Prabhupada closed his eyes, and it looked like 5-10 minutes Prabhupada was not speaking. So devotees were literally confused. What is this? There was open eyes, the tears were pouring down. So our intense attachment and love will happen when we hear about Krishna. About this, unless you hear about Krishna, unless you read my books, unless you chant the holy name, the attachment will not develop. So as we know, Krishna spoke to Arjuna, by hearing only si nasto moha smritar labdha to prasada meyuchita stotosmi gat sandeya karshya vachanantava. Parikshit Maharaj also, he heard 7 days. He wanted to get perfection 7 days, and he wanted to guarantee. So Sukadeva Goswami have not told anything to do other than hearing. Just hear. So hearing is a very powerful process, and that if it's somehow develop attachment for hearing. How we develop attachment for hearing? By Mahatasepya Vipra, by serving the pure devotee. So someone say, okay, hearing is a process, but I don't have attachment for hearing. So by serving pure devotees, we can develop attachment for hearing. And hearing about Krishna pure devotee is again a process by develop attachment. As much as you hear, you develop attachment. So beginning you may not be very inclined, but process to hear. Because by drinking, you become intoxicated, you become develop taste. So by hearing, you develop taste for hearing. So the full Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, given this wonderful process of hearing. So I will stop here if any other questions. Grinthal, yes.
My question is that hearing about the pure devotee is glorious than hearing about the Lord. So
Again, you repeat.
Hearing about the pure devotee, glories of the pure devotee, is more glorious than hearing about the Lord. Right?
The Lord makes it. Actually, they are the same, but Lord takes much more pleasure. He was so happy to hear about this. So that's the Japa says the Lord is always become more happy when he addressed along with his pure devotees. Yashoda Nandana, Nanda Nandana, Rohini Nandana, Partha Sarathi. So Lord become much more pleased when he is linked with his pure devotees. Krishna is never alone.
But sometimes, when we are dealing in a community, devotee community, we start with the dealings of these Vyavaharic level dealings. And the ultimate achievement that we have to hear about, we have to develop attachment towards the Guru, towards the Krishna, that gets hampered. So, how to get out of this situation?
So when you're working, when we have devotional service, we should not do off mind. Now, off mind means you are doing something without mind is somewhere else. So, tasmat ekena manasa bhagavan sattvatam shotabhya kirtitam punyashanyatada. So when we're doing service, it should not be the off mind service. The same thing chanting, sometimes we do off mind. Mind is somewhere else, we are simply moving the beats. It's beneficial but not what we are looking for. Very insignificant benefit. So Krishna bhavagrahi janardana. He actually is not about what we can serve Krishna. He look after your devotion. Patram puspam phalam toyam. Even you offer any little service you do, but with the right frame of mind. So why we have to hear? So they develop the right frame of mind. So that we can serve Krishna. But says Krishna is not a beggar, he wants something. Yes, so you want it. So that right frame of mind will develop when you hear about Krishna. Other class is saying, what do you see, deity? Unless you hear. What is Krishna? What a glorious Lord is. So, hearing, talking about Krishna will bring us to the platform where we can completely surrender to Krishna. We have to cry for Krishna. Krishna, I am yours. You handle me as you wish. No, you trample me, no? Like says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Embrace me. Don't come before my eyes. Ashreshava patharatam penashtuma. Adasha marmatam karvita tatava vadabit. Whatever you did, I am yours, Krishna. That's it. Once the pure heart is Krishna, I am yours, you handle as you wish. Then Krishna takes a complete charge of you. So what this will not happen if we do not much hear about Krishna and Krishna not very much appreciate your mechanical service. Is have benefit, I am saying, is doubting, but still he look after the love and devotion. So that will happen when we have read, hear, and in beginning, consciously, intensely you should remember. Gradually, slowly will happen when you cannot forget. Like gopis. They were not able to forget Krishna. They wish to forget, but they are not able to forget. But beginning, and the sadhana bhaktas, we have to constantly remember, read, remember, memorize sloka, claim the purport Buddha says. When you're preaching, just repeat my purport. What your fertile mind will think of. So you keep talking, thinking, that constant should happen. So gradually, slowly, by practice we have to do. It will not come automatically, you have to practice it. Like sometimes some wrong things comes automatically, even though we not desire. Like Arjuna saying, I'm inclined to sinful activity even unwillingly. Same thing when you develop other thing, remembrance of Krishna will come even though unwillingly kind of thing. You cannot be able to forget Krishna. Same thing, chanting, when you become perfect in chanting, chanting will happen. And when you chant, automatically hear. Now we have to focus on hearing. I want to hear. But the day will come where Krishna is, whenever is spoken, the world will, you cannot focus anything else. somewhere I was hearing some past time where Krishna, Radharani does not hear anything other than Krishna voice. So many voices he cannot hear. Only Krishna's voice she can hear. Krishna's holy name. So when you love with someone, you, even though voice will not be, but still the same voice will keep coming. So that's called deep attachment. So this attachment will come only if we hear. And hearing is not, sound is required. More than sound in mind, you can hear minds, so to speak, about Krishna. One is hearing his voice, that's also very important. But more than the mind should be always thinking of Krishna. Means thinking of Krishna means actually hearing of Krishna. Think of Krishna means actually hearing. Suppose some sloka, some passing, so you keep hearing that. But the process, when you're chanting Hare Krishna, you should hear. It's a process. But other than that, also you should always keep thinking of Krishna. Man mana mad bhakto madhyache ma.
So, hearing, when we are chanting, if we chant along with Prabhupada, there is a voice of Prabhupada, and so is that better? Whether we can chant along?
Prabhupada always said, you hear your chant.
Along with the voice of Prabhupada, we chant.
You should chant you. Along with, okay, you can do so. But gradually come, you should hear on voice. Now we have to follow Prabhupada. We should not become fanatic or sentimentalist. What we. Prabhupada said, you hear your chant. So what he is speaking, now somebody says, I put a headphone, Prabhupada here, and keep hearing Prabhupada. Okay, that's also good. Not doing is much better. But more better, you speak, you chant, you hear your voice. So some too much disturbance there. You are not hearing your voice. At least you hear Prabhupada voice. So he said, you put Prabhupada sound also. So at least some sound will go. Otherwise you are hearing about so many other things. But more than that sound, it's your mind. If mind is able to completely put on, because the mind, actually if mind is not there, whatever sound you will not hear. The focus is not there. So beginning, a lot of practice is required. No? One place Father says, by practice, art of chanting, by practice you can. Without practice will not come. You have to put your energy, you have to give your life for that. Yes, I want to do it. Then Krishna and Prabhupada will help us.
Putting two plants and these quotes which are coming up between the chanting.
Yeah. So that is recommended in the beginning. So that instead of thinking X, Y, Z, you think about something, Krishna, some feelings will come. Na? This soulful japa.
Singing is not recommended in chanting.
Huh?
If somebody has not contemplated, not have thought feeling, then you just think about these things.
Yeah, so don't think you just hear the very chant is the first thing. Then proper to generate the bhava to the feeling, you may read that quote and come. But gradually, 24 hours you are with the feelings of Krishna. That is actually status of a devotee. Devotee means love with Krishna. If you love someone, you cannot forget. So if enough you have contemplated here about, then you cannot forget Krishna. So yeah, these are the processes to practice so that gradually you can reach. Ultimate aim is to hear and chant and hear and with love and devotion. Now Bhagavatam says, if you're hearing holy name, if the tears is not coming, then your heart is steel framed heart. Means that there's no, we have not developed anything. So that the holy name is such wonderful, the ecstasy will come. If not outside, internally, you feel so much connection with Krishna, separation from Krishna. That is the way we see the all Goswamis. जगन्नाथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गो प्रेम नंदी